and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got some really great information for you that's going to help you if you are an owner or a center director of a child care home or a child care center. This information is really going to help you recognize some red flags when it comes to hiring. So let's say, for example, you have already chosen your candidates and it's time for the interview. What are some things that you should look out for when hiring your new candidates? Now, before we get started and jump right into the information, if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe below and don't forget to share this video. All right, so let's get started. The number one red flag to look for when hiring a new staff is, let's say you have an interview and the interview begins at 9 a.m. and your candidate is late for the interview. That is a red flag number one. Now, I know sometimes there are extenuating circumstances and there's just things that are just out of people's control, right? However, if the interview starts at 9 and your candidate comes rolling in and it's 9:30, 9:45, and they really have no really great excuse for why they're late for the interview, that is a huge red flag. In all of my years of owning childcare centers, I have realized that usually how candidates start out in the interview, use your gut and your intuition, is usually like the same theme throughout their entire employment within your program. So if they're late and, like I said, they really don't have a real great excuse for why they're late for the interview, it's just common courtesy. You want to make sure that you're giving them enough time to schedule out their interview so that they can make preparations and arrangements to get there on time. So number one, the biggest red flag is they are late for the first interview. All right, so let's jump to number two. Number two, they are dressed inappropriately. So I know now, we're living in a different age and we're living in a different time where, a lot of employees may not wear suits or ties to interviews, but are you wearing shorts, right? Is the candidate, are they wearing flip-flops or sandals or things that are just totally inappropriate, or maybe just even leggings to an interview? Usually, like I mentioned earlier, how they start out in their interview is usually the things that you're going to have to continue to reinforce. So do you have a dress code within your program, your center or your home? And then here comes this employee, with some flip-flops or something on that's just inappropriate for being at a child care center where they'll be outside and running and working with children. So that's sign number two. Are they dressed inappropriately for the interview? And number three, they don't really have a pleasant demeanor. Sometimes we just meet some people who it's like, whoa, are you having a bad day today? Or, what happened to you this morning? It's like they're dragging into the interview. Every question is, kind of like a monotone. It's probably going to be the same way when they're working with your parents as they come in the morning. Will they speak? Maybe they won't speak, or, maybe they kind of sound like they don't want to be there. So, really use your intuition, like I mentioned earlier, because how do you feel about this candidate? Are you saying to yourself during the interview, does this person really want to be here? Are they like this every day? Maybe they just had a bad day. So that's our tip number three. Do they have an unpleasant demeanor? That's a huge red flag, and it's kind of like a huge turnoff. So number four, they believe in harsh discipline methods. So I know this sounds kind of crazy, but in the interview, I hope that you're asking your teachers, if you're hiring for teachers in your home or your childcare center, how do you feel about discipline? Like, or what are some of your beliefs around discipline? I remember hiring a candidate for my childcare center a few years ago, and I literally asked her, how do you feel about discipline? Like, what are some of your beliefs? And she said, I really believe that you should spank children, if they don't listen, if they don't mind. Like, those are some things that you really want to ask the candidates, because they, at that moment, they're asked really on the spot, and so sometimes they're really going to tell you what you want to hear. And so, of course, if they come back and say something like that candidate, that they believe in corporal punishment or things like that, that's totally against childcare licensing rules and regulations, and you do not want to hire that particular employee. So that's our last tip of the day for the hiring process when it comes to red flags. Just make sure that you and the candidate, that your beliefs are the same when it comes to discipline. And I really appreciate you being here. Please take the opportunity to go to our website, which is www.emergentedsccc.com. We do offer consulting for our childcare center directors, whether you are a home or a center owner. Please reach out to us and we can assist you. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got some really great videos that are uploaded every couple of days that are really helping you in your childcare business. And have a great day.